Awesome. Welcome to Stellar Parenting with Brandi and happy lunar eclipse from Houston, Texas. I am your host, Brandi Kahn. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I also hold a Master of Science degree in psychology with an emphasis in child and adolescent development. And my mission is to use this show to teach parents, guardians, teachers how to mix the magic of the stars and the planets with the art of consciously raising and teaching our children. You can find me at brandycon.com, and that's Brandi with an I, and Con is Khan. And if you'd like to be a caller on this show, please join my Facebook group called Psychology Infused Astrology and sign up on my list. So, on today's show, what we're going to do, I'm going to teach you how to incorporate a theory from psychology called polyvagal theory. We're going to combine that with astrology so that you can incorporate it into your parenting approach. Okay. And then after that, we're going to have a caller. We have someone who wanted to know a little bit about her daughter's natal chart. So we will hear from her towards the end of the show. And before we get into all of, the wonderful information that I have in store for you today, I'd like to go ahead. We're going to start a series every week called In the Spotlight. Now, in the Spotlight, every week, what I will do, I will take a particular planet or a luminary in a specific sign, and I will give you all the secrets, everything that you need to know about that particular placement. And you want to listen carefully just in case that placement shows up in your child's natal chart. Okay, so before we get to everything today, let's go ahead and start our series of In the Spotlight. So, in the Spotlight this week, we have the moon in the sign of, drumroll please, Virgo. Okay, moon in Virgo. Now, in astrology, the moon is a luminary and she represents our feelings, our emotions, our sensitivity, what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel nurtured, and what we need. Okay. And for our children in particular, the moon represents their right to feel what they are feeling. And also, as well, their right to need what it is that they need in every particular moment. So when we take the moon and we put her in the sign of Virgo, she has a character all her own. So first, let me describe Virgo for you, the sign of Virgo. Virgo is a mutable earth sign. So what this means is that with Virgo, flexibility, practicality, rationality, those things are very, very important. And when the moon in Virgo is being expressed in a balanced way and in a functional way, the chart holder, or in this case, your child, will manifest like qualities of Virgo, like humility, organization, orderliness may be very, very important as well. Cleanliness, health, and hygiene may also be emphasized as well. But just like we can go to one end of the spectrum with Virgo and we can be really balanced with the way that we express it, we can also go in the opposite direction to the other end of the spectrum and be a little bit unbalanced with the way that we express moon and Virgo. So moon and Virgo, if a little bit out of balance, might tend to be really very picky, very critical, very perfectionistic, and almost prone to anxiety and impatience. So that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. And with every placement that we have in astrology, there's a higher potential that you could express and a lower potential. And as parents, guardians, teachers, what we want to do, we want to help our children to express each of these qualities in a very balanced way so that they, in turn, can reach their highest potential. Now, children with moon and Virgo. So remember, with moon, we're talking about emotions, and with Virgo, we've got, this grounded earth sign. So therefore, they may be prone to having or displaying fewer emotional highs and lows. They might be very grounded when it comes to their emotions, or they might not be prone to displaying them outwardly in such a dramatic way. They might be very orderly and conservative, and details. With Virgo, it's the details that matter. Details count. And sometimes Virgo can get a bad rap for focusing so much on the little details and not being able to see the big picture. Another thing that I love about Virgo, and I'm saying this as someone who's got quite a few Virgo placements in my chart, what I love is Virgo, or people with heavy Virgo placements. We tend to set really high standards for ourselves. But because we set high standards for ourselves, many times we in turn have high expectations of those around us. So you might begin to notice this if you have a child with moon and Virgo, or heavy Virgo placements, and they are a teenager. They may be beginning to show this particular expression. All right. And another thing that I love, Virgo can be very meticulous when it comes to health and hygiene, and also meticulous about how they approach their work, how they do their work. Now, with parenting, our goal is to always give our children a sense of safety and a sense of stability. And if you've got a child with their moon in Virgo or other Virgo placements, one thing that you might want to consider is it's a good idea to maintain a consistent schedule. With Virgo, they seem to get a sense of being nurtured or feeling safe from predictability and knowing what's going to happen next. Also, organization and order are very important at home for a child with their moon in Virgo. Now, all of these things that I'm mentioning, they are great for all children, right? But in particular, those with moon and Virgo will have an appreciation for the order, for organization, and for consistency. Now, another thing that they might really love, nutritious meals. Remember, there's an emphasis with Virgo on health, focusing on the health. So these may be the children that really want to eat their vegetables or enjoy eating vegetables. Also, you want to teach Virgo. So, like if Virgo goes to the lower end of expression, we can have someone who's quite picky or a little bit critical, a little bit perfectionistic. And what we want to do, we want to be that support system where we teach our children that, you know what, you don't have to be perfect in order to be loved. You don't have to be perfect in order to be worthy. You just are, and you are loved no matter what. Because many times, if that Virgo energy gets out of balance, your child may have a tendency to say, well, I missed that one problem, so I'm no good at anything. Or, I went up to bat and I struck out once during the game, so I'm terrible and I'm never going to try again. We want to be that safe place for that Virgo moon to fall and to say, you know what, it's okay to mess up. It's okay not to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect in order to be loved. Now, also, as well, Virgo is the sign of service. People with moon and Virgo, they get a sense of fulfillment and joy from being of service to others and helping others. So, if you've got a child with their moon in Virgo, give them the opportunity to be of service. So, you can take them, to volunteer within your community, or just give them chores and things to do at home or for a neighbor so that they feel like they are making a difference. They feel like they are being of service. Now, since Virgo is prone, or people with heavy Virgo placements, especially moon and Virgo, prone to anxiety if that energy gets a little bit out of balance, we want to give our child a tool that they can carry with them throughout life in moments of when they are experiencing moments of anxiety. That could be learning about deep breathing. That could be learning about meditation, how to, teaching them how to close your eyes, breathe, and bring your attention back to the present moment. It can also be teaching them about how to go outside and just ground into the energy of the earth and resonate with the energy of the earth, and therefore help that anxiety dissipate a little bit. And your child, if you teach them this now, this is something that they will be able to take with them for the rest of their life. This will be a lifelong tool. One last thing that I want to add when we're talking about moon and Virgo. So remember again, moon is about emotions, how we display emotions, and Virgo is that really grounded sign. So sometimes, with people, moon and Virgo, or children with the moon and Virgo, they may tend to come across as a little bit emotionally detached. These might not be the children who want to run up to you and give you a big hug. Okay. And if that's the way that your child is, then that's okay. The biggest thing that we can learn from astrology is appreciating who your child is without trying to change them into who you want them to be. We want to meet them where they are, honor who they are, this particular incarnation, and allow them to be just as they are. So now we're going to segue into polyvagal theory, and I'm going to add here with all moon signs, whether or not your child has their moon in the sign of Virgo. Every child has a moon in their natal chart. Every child is going to express emotion in a different way. So, incorporating polyvagal theory into your parenting approach will help you to really understand what's going on at a physiological level when your child is having a tantrum, or they're having a meltdown, or they're in the middle of a screaming match. Okay. This will really help you to understand exactly what's going on. So let's begin with the autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system, that's the part of our nervous system that controls involuntary body processes such as our breathing, digestion, blood pressure, and heart rate. And according to polyvagal theory, the autonomic nervous system has three different levels, or three different pathways. So the first level, and this is going to be the green pathway. The first level, the green pathway, is all about what's called the ventral vagal state. And you will know if your child is in a ventral vagal state if they are feeling connected, if they are feeling loved, if they are feeling safe and grounded. And you'll be able to tell this by their body language, their tone of voice, their facial expressions, and their eye contact. Okay. So this is the state where your child is feeling safe. Basically, they're feeling a sense of safety and they're feeling connected to others around them. In this state, your child has access to their prefrontal cortex. It's here in the front of the brain. That's the part of the brain that helps your child to make really good decisions, to think about things in a very rational and logical way. Okay, so that's pathway number one, the green pathway, ventral vagal. Now, with pathway two, this is going to be the red pathway. And this is when your child is in a state of sympathetic activation. Basically, that means your child is in fight or flight. And you will know they are in fight or flight if their heart is racing, if their pupils are dilated, they're sweating, and they may be showing behavior such as hitting, kicking, screaming, wanting to run away, or directing very intense eye contact towards you. So that's the state where the sympathetic nervous system has kicked in. The child is in fight or flight. That's red. Now, level three, pathway three, the blue pathway, this is a dorsal vagal state. This is when the parasympathetic nervous system has kicked in and your child may seem to be frozen. They may seem as if they have shut down emotionally. They may be avoiding eye contact with you. They may be moving and speaking very slowly or in a very monotone voice. They might just seem frozen. Okay. And this is when they are in a state of emotional shutdown. Now, what's important, what I want you to remember is with the red pathway, sympathetic activation, fight or flight, and the blue pathway, dorsal vagal, and where the parasympathetic system has been activated, your child does not have access to their prefrontal cortex. They really don't have the ability to think clearly and make good decisions when they are in those states. Okay. So if your child is in the middle of a tantrum and they're on the red pathway, maybe they're screaming, kicking on the floor, rolling around, or maybe they've shut down emotionally, those are going to be the two times when your child's not really going to be able to hear what you're saying. They're not going to be able to understand what you're saying. And they're not even going to be able to think in a rational way about what you're saying. So when your child is in one of those two states, what we want to do is help them get back to a sense of safety, back on the green pathway. And once we're back on the green pathway, that's when we can teach our lessons. That's when we can have a deeper conversation. That's when we can try to explain things a little bit more. But if they are in a state of distress in any way whatsoever, emotional distress, they're not going to be able to hear you. So, what we're going to do next week, I'm going to tell you exactly how to help your child get from red or blue pathway back onto the green pathway. So, stay tuned for that next week. I'll give you a big teaser. It has something to do with helping your child to feel a sense of safety once again. Okay. And we will dive into that a little bit more next week. But what I want each and every one of you to remember, if your children is, if your child or your children, if they are in a moment of distress, they are experiencing a moment of distress, just be fully present there with them in that moment and recognize and realize that they might not have access to everything that they need to see the situation as clearly as you do as an adult. Okay. And no matter what your child's moon sign is, I want each one of you just to take that and incorporate it into your parenting approach. And that way we can show a lot more compassion to our children wherever they are on their paths without such a sense of judgment. All right, so we will finish that next week. And right now we have a caller that I'm so excited to hear from. She has questions about her daughter's natal chart. Aisha? Aisha,
Hi,
hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Okay, so I'm so excited to have you on the show. And you did send in the information for your daughter's natal chart. And I have to say, what a dynamic chart. So, your daughter is Sagittarius rising. She has Sagittarius on her ascendant. She's got a Pisces moon and a Leo sun. And she's about 10 years old. Is that correct?
That's correct. She just turned 10 last month.
Okay, so she just turned 10 last month. I have to tell you, so her chart ruler Jupiter is in the sign of Leo, and like I said, she's got such a dynamic chart. I'm looking at it here. I have to tell you, so with her ascendant, with Sagittarius being on the ascendant, and let me back up just a minute and tell you about the ascendant or the rising sign. So many times with children, they are working towards embodying more of their sun sign. Okay, so that's like a lifelong pursuit. And when they're this age, many times they come across more so as their rising sign. So we see more of the rising sign and more of the moon. So with your daughter being Sagittarius rising, I know that she will come across to others because the rising sign is all about how we come across to others, the personality that we are wearing when we are interacting with the world. So she will come across to others in a very open way, very outgoing, and very honest about what she is thinking. Have you noticed this about her?
Oh, yes. She definitely tells you, speaks her mind.
Okay, yeah, she speaks her mind, and sometimes um, people with strong Sagittarius placements, there's a joke about how they have open foot, insert mouth syndrome, like they just say whatever they're
Hmm.
thinking and feeling before they've
Yeah.
even had a chance to filter it out. So, that's just a little joke about Sagittarius. Now, also with Sagittarius, freedom is very important. The sense of freedom, not being restricted. So you might notice that as she's growing older is not even wanting to wear clothing that feels restricting, or not being able to be around people who restrict her freedom of thought, or the ability that she
Hmm.
has to express herself. Have you noticed that at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. And what I love about people who have Sagittarius on their ascendant is they tend to be optimistic. They tend to be very optimistic and positive about things. And, like, for example, Oprah has Sagittarius on her ascendant. But has that quality kicked in for your daughter yet? Have you noticed like a sense of optimism?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she's always looking at the brighter picture. Like,
Good.
I think
Okay,
so.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing that you can encourage within her as she grows older is to always find the silver lining in each and every situation.
Hmm.
Because with that, Sagittarius on the ascendant, she will have the ability to be inspirational, to inspire other people. Okay.
Oh, yeah. She wants to be. She said before she wants to be an inspirational speaker, and when she grows up.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful. And I
motivational
actually
speaker.
see that.
That's the word I want
Yeah.
to say. Motivation.
Oh, wow. I actually see that with her. I can see exactly why she wants that. One thing I will remark on, she's got a Pisces moon. So I just was speaking about the moon, how the moon shows how we show our emotion, our level of sensitivity. And Pisces
Hmm.
moon people tend to be very, very sensitive souls with strong
Hmm.
feelings. And if you say
Hmm.
something to them a little harshly, they can take it so personally. They can take it to heart. Have you noticed this?
Absolutely. I literally just got off the phone with her teacher um, a couple hours ago because she had me thinking that this teacher was the worst person ever. And the school year has recently started, so I haven't had a lot of interaction with her. Um, but yeah, she just very takes everything very personal. Like she didn't even want me to reach out to the teacher. There
Mm.
was a whole thing about a assignment, but she didn't want me to reach out to the teacher, and I'm really glad I did because it went great. Um,
Right, right.
we both got to learn more about each other. But yeah, she just the teacher just little things that she mentioned about the assignment and basically just really took it to heart.
Oh,
What the
yeah.
teacher had said to her and had me thinking that this was the worst teacher ever. And she actually was very, very nice and warm when I finally talked to her. But yeah, takes things very, very personally.
Right. Yeah. And, with that sensitive Pisces moon, there's also this aspect with that moon, that placement of creative expression. So, creativity,
Hmm.
expressing whether it's through music or art, dance, photography, that will give her expressing that way creatively will give her a sense of safety and security, inner safety and security. Is your daughter very creative?
Oh yeah, she loves to sing. She loves to dance. She's in dance. She wants to learn piano and guitar. She's into acting. She's in the theater
Wow.
program. About to have a play coming up now. So yeah, that is absolutely her thing. Everywhere we go, she's singing as soon as she wakes
Wow.
up. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And that goes right along with she has a stellium in Leo. She's got 4 planets in the sign of Leo. Leo is another sign where there's an emphasis on creative expression. But with Leo, it's not only about creating, but it's about being recognized for what we create. and getting a sense of
Mhm.
validation from the way that we create. So, has your daughter
Mhm.
ever mentioned to you that she likes the spotlight? She likes when she's center stage. She likes to sing for others. Has she ever said that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she loves, and even when she might be timid sometimes when she's around people, like at school. I was telling her teacher today,
Right.
sometimes at school she doesn't speak up as much, but you would never know when you see her in a play. She likes, she loves
Good.
to sing and she loves to perform. She
Yeah.
loves the recognition of it. Yeah, she definitely
Wonderful.
enjoys the spotlight.
Awesome. And so the thing about it is a lot of times people think with Leo or people with strong Leo placements that, they're just confident. They're confident. They don't need to be validated. But that's the secret of Leo children. They really, really need the validation. I mean, all children do, but
Mhm.
especially Leo for how they are creative and creating. Okay. So validation is so
Mhm.
important. And I will mention your daughter, she has an eighth house stellium. So for of her natal planets are in the eighth house. And I have to tell you, so I know that there is this inner resilience, inner power, inner determination that she has naturally. And so if she can tap into that as she goes through life, she will be absolutely unstoppable in anything that she wants to do.
Mhm.
Does that make
That
sense?
makes me feel good. That makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. I definitely can see that in her.
Yes, and I want to add one thing because we're almost out of time. One of the messages that she will be exposed to as she's growing up is that life is hard, life is not easy. You have to work hard for everything. And that may be a belief that she adopts at a subconscious level. So, one thing that you can do, like as mom and your husband as well, we can help her. We can rewire that belief, teach her that no, life doesn't have to be hard. Things can come to us easily. We can manifest things easily. The universe is supportive, the universe is abundant, and the universe is always there, giving me exactly what I need. You understand?
Mhm. Yeah, I do.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Aisha, for coming on as a caller today. I really appreciate you sharing your daughter with us in a way. And like I said, she's got such a magnificent chart. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. And so we're wrapping up before our show ends. And again, if you need to find me, you can find me at brandycon.com. That's Brandy with an I, and Con is Khan. And I also have a program online on my website, Stellar Parenting Method with Brandy. So check that out as well for those of you who want a little bit more support of how to incorporate the psychology and the astrology and custom design a parenting approach with your own child. So until next week, I hope you have a fabulous week and thank you so much for joining me.